mentioned that you and Magic had the same fight over and over about you working more. And I wonder if you are now past it or if this is something that will always be around. Like, is there hope for us? Thank you so much for this question, because absolutely there's hope for you. And it's such good news, you know, when you figure out that as a couple, you're really just having the same argument over and over. You don't realize it before. You don't realize that it's always some variation of the same thing and that there's a little bit of validity to it. You know, it's like it's obviously still an issue or wouldn't be talking about it so much. But it always feels like the invitation is so different. Like, oh, this time it's going to be a really different argument. This time that we show up, it's going to be different. This time we're going to make some headway, when actually you're just kind of like doing the same thing over and over. So our consistent argument for a while, there was like, the core argument was like, I work harder than you do, and I'm pissed about that. And then the kind of offshoot of that was, when I try to get you to help me, you don't listen to me. Now, something kind of uncomfortable about reflecting on this argument was that, let me see if this works, but can you think of the consistent argument you would pick with me?
I guess it was just wanting to take space.
I cannot recall, I'm not saying this is true for everybody. I cannot recall Magic picking one fight with me. I can't recall him picking one fight with me, like, ever.
You would just get pissed if I told you like how to load the dishwasher or something.
I don't like being told what to do. And actually, in human design, nobody likes being told what to do. But I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being told how to empty the lint thing or why it's important. I don't want to be like mansplained to, like, period. It's a bedtime story. He starts talking, oh, did you know this? Like, pass on that. But, you know, whatever. I'm toxic. But I can't recall Magic even picking like one fight with me. He takes space, but him, it's always me like picking the fight. And so the root problem at the thing I'm heard about on the inside is like, I work so much harder than you. You're not helping me enough, blah, 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 blah. And then when I try to get you to help me, you just don't, or you're not doing it good enough, or yada, yada. No, specifically, not yada, yada. Specifically, you're not listening to me. I try to get you to help me and you're not listening to me. So what was true?
Wiley's dictating.
Oh, cool, Wiley. Yeah, write down every single one. Who are you sending it to? Oh, my. Okay, good. Well, good thing you're sending it in response to the person.
I'm sending it to you.
Oh, thank you very much, Wiley. Now, when we got to the bottom of this problem, which was like, all right, well, let's just like even this out. Because I would say, you're not working as hard as me. And Magic would say, well, I'm doing all of these things that you don't see. And I said, I would like you to do things I can see from now on. And so once we actually resolved that problem and we're like, okay, well, let's make it even. It's never going to be fair, but let's make it shared. Now Magic does 3 really specific things for me in the business. He films, he onboards new students, and he processes money and refunds. Now when we compare like his task sheet to my task sheet, it's really different. There's a lot more stuff on it, mine. But the things that Magic does are things that without him, we could never scale the business. So when it comes to like welcoming new students into our business, there's only one person that they'll be happy with that's not me. That's Magic. When it comes to filming me, there's only one person that can film me because there's only one person here with me. And when it comes to processing refunds, so far the way that our business has grown, when it comes to counting money, touching money, it's either him or it's me. So far that works for us. So having him do these 3 tasks, there might be 15 things on my list and 3 things on his, but they're very, very useful. Which brings us to the second part of this argument. My most consistent frustration with Magic is that I felt like he wasn't listening to me. So he would go, maybe he would help me by doing a grocery run. Maybe he would help me by, I'd say, go pick up this from the store for me, or watch the kids like this, or go to the barn and do this task for me. And no matter how clearly I would explain it, and I pride myself in being very good at like articulating what I need help with, being very clear and organized, no matter what it was, he just like, it was like if I told him to do it, he couldn't do it the way that I told him to. And I would get so pissed about this because I felt like he wasn't listening to me. I'm like, I know you heard me. Let's switch babies. I know you heard me. You were sitting right there next to me, but you didn't listen to me. And the belief behind all of this was that he was maliciously not listening to me. Maybe it's because of his mom. Maybe it's misogyny. Maybe he just can't listen to me because I'm a woman. Maybe he can't handle being told what to do by a woman because it's emasculating. Story, ego. But this was the fight that I had with him like fucking 900 times. Usually in regards to punctuality, be back in 30 minutes, never happen, do this, do that. But we had this argument like 900 times. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys a joke, all right? This guy walks into a bar and he says, I'd like to have 10 martinis, please. And the bartender goes, 10 martinis? And the guy just slaps the money on the bar. And the guy's like, all right, 10 martinis it is. So he shakes them up, pours them up, puts the olives in it. And the guy, one by one, downs them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Downs all of the martinis. He said, tips. It's like, thank you very much. Goes to walk out of the bar. And the bartender's like, whoa. I've never seen anybody drink martinis that fast. What's the deal? And he's like, well, I just had my first BJ. And the bartender, and he, spelled it out for the bartender, but
Mom,
I just had my first.
I'm sending these to Magda.
Oh, cool.
Here, let me get you.
Yeah, okay, good thing. So the bartender is like, what? You just had your first BJ. Now I gotta buy you a martini. And the guy thinks about it and he's like, no. And the bartender is like, what do you mean? Why won't you let me buy you a martini for your first BJ? And the guy goes, if 10 martinis didn't get that taste out of my mouth, 11 won't. So if 900 rounds of having this argument, you don't listen to me, didn't get the problem solved, do you think 901 will? You think 901 will? Pure cannot stop with this. Have a martini. If you think, if 900 rounds of having this argument, how many times have you had this argument? If you ask me in Magic, I'd be like, at least once a week for the 8 years that we've been together. So let's pull up some math right here. Let's go and get our calculator up and let's see. If I had this once a week with Magic for 8 years, let's do 4 times 12 times 8. That is 384 times that I've had this argument with him of you don't listen to me. Do I think 385 is going to do it? Most likely not. Also, for 384 rounds of having this argument, has it actually improved anything? Has it actually improved anything? No, because I'm still back at square one over and over and over again.
I just made it worse. Everyone's on pins and needles.
Mm-hmm. Now, after 384 times of having this argument, do I think that I have brought every possible dimension and angle to this that I possibly could? Have I said everything on this topic that I possibly could? Absolutely. So what's the bottom line? Magic doesn't really listen to me. He's not doing it maliciously, but when I give him explicit orders, he just, for some reason, can't follow through. And that's fine. And also when it comes to punctuality, it's not really a strong suit. For my flow-oriented husband, having to show up on government time is like not his favorite thing. If he sets the appointment for himself, I've got to get the car inspected, which is a lie. I'm getting a new muffler put on it. If it's something that he sets up for himself, no problem. But if I tell him to do it, he just can't do it or won't do it or whatever. Now, I could continue to argue. Wiley, I'm really talking here, so every time you talk, it's kind of conflicting with my special show here. All right? Sorry. I could either continue to fight about this for another 8 years and get into this over and over and over again, thinking that it's going to change something, or I can just accept he doesn't listen to me. Now look, everybody's gonna piss you off. Everybody's gonna piss you off. How does Magic piss me off? He doesn't listen to me. So what am I gonna do? Dump him and get another boyfriend? Oh, he's a 10, but he always calls me by his ex-girlfriend's name. Oh, he's a 10, but he chronically lies. Oh, he's a 10, but he has an addiction problem. You're never gonna meet somebody that's perfect because perfect doesn't exist. So everybody's gonna piss you off in some way. So can you just accept about this person? Okay, he doesn't listen to me. Therefore, I have to find a way around this where he can still continue to help me, but without listening to me the way that I need him to listen to me, because he's not doing it maliciously. And this idea that he is behind the scenes waiting for an opportunity to hurt me. He's waiting for an opportunity to hurt me. He's doing this on purpose. I tell him something and he says, you know what? Fuck Onami. Fuck her. I don't want to be in a marriage with her. I'm just here so that I can secretly like sabotage her and slowly break her down because I want to destroy her. Because it's like really psychotic to believe that that's what's at play. Like that the person closest to you is just sitting around plotting on how they can like injure you or make your life worse. So it's not malicious, but he just doesn't listen to me. Can I accept that? And the second that I accepted this is an old ass argument that we've had a million times, and he doesn't listen to me. How can I work with somebody that doesn't listen to me? And at first it felt frantic. How can I work with someone that can't listen to me? Got rid of that. How can I work with someone that doesn't listen to me? He needs to be his own manager. He needs to be his own manager. So once we establish that he needs to be his own manager, it's like, all right, instead of thinking about how I can perfectly train you so you can recite to me from rote memory how it is that we do this and how it is that we do that, I'm going to throw you behind the bar on a Friday night and just see how you do. Before feeling like I've got to train you on this and train you on that, I'm just going to throw you behind the bar on a Friday night and see what you can do. From now on, you're on onboarding. Bam, get into it. And he excelled. I have not once had to ask you to do onboarding because you know it's your inbox. If you don't do onboarding, what happens?
It sits and people get pissed.
I don't get pissed. That's his department. I don't get pissed. I don't see it. It's wonderful. That's off of my list. He can manage himself on that. He wants to help me. He hasn't known how. Now he knows how to help me. No problem. Now, the second that our workload got even, we started having a lot less arguments because we were arguing over and over because there was something that needed to be resolved. We needed to split up the workload for the health and happiness of the marriage and for all parties concerned. We just had to do that. But I couldn't get past that because I was like ordering him to do exactly what I needed him to do, even though he has a really hard time listening to my being obedient, basically. It's not that he's not listening to me. It's that like I needed him to obey me explicitly. If there was any room for creativity, I would get pissed. So that's why that didn't work. So after 384 times of having this argument, we got to the root of the problem, but also kept space for those little frustrations and said, okay, how do we just go around this? And things got a lot easier. So everyone's going to piss you off in some way, but even if it seems impossible, like how could I ever work with somebody that doesn't listen to me? There's a way to do it. If there's a will, there's a way, but you have to decide. Would I like to have this argument for the 385th time? Would I like to have an 11th martini? Do I think that I'm actually getting somewhere with this, or can I accept that this is just what it is? Your husband can't take criticism. Your husband can't take criticism. Your husband can't be obedient to you implicitly. Not possible. But if you accept that, then there's a way around that. And the way around that is going to make you really, really happy. So let's answer one more question here. Can I ask a question? How do I build trust if my partner broke trust regarding our kid and he wasn't his own manager and it changed how I see him? So let's just take this back to what we already talked about. Was it malicious? If he broke trust, was it malicious? Was he trying to hurt you? Was he saying that I want to make your life miserable and our child's life miserable, so I'm going to do it like this? Was it malicious? Can you absolutely know that it was malicious? Do you have proof that it was malicious? The answer to that is 99% going to be no. which brings us to the next part. Do people make mistakes? Yes, they make mistakes. 100%. Now, the problem with getting hurt is a lot of times to make things even, we want to use punishment instead of discipline. And punishment is saying, you cheat on me, I cheat on you, because you're going to learn through hurt. And the more you suffer, the more likely you're going to learn. And I want this to hurt for you. I want you to never forget. She might need some boob done later. I want you to never forget how much you hurt me. Therefore, I'm going to try and make you just sit in this and sizzle in this and roast in this for as long as possible. And then you have hurt squared. Like, it's not actually solving the problem. It's just hurt squared. I hurt you, you hurt me, and now we're both hurt. And now we've got a big fucking problem. Discipline is, Wiley, I need my phone. Please bring it here. Hear the evanescence in the back. Discipline is something that is relevant and something that is corrective. It's an action that is relevant to what happened and corrects the pain, not on contact, but it is corrective. So for example, you broke trust with me. What's relevant to that? You broke trust, now you have to fix trust. If you broke the trust, you fix the trust. Not you broke my trust, now you wash the car. What does a car have to do with trust? Discipline is relevant. It has something to do, and it's reparative. So basically, it's fixing the problem. So you broke the trust, and now you fix the trust. If you're doing this with children, you can use the concept of pleasant, unpleasant. So you made my dinner unpleasant by screaming the whole time. Now you're going to make my dinner pleasant by... You made my day unpleasant by this. Now you're going to make my day pleasant like this. It can be easier to find the solution when we use this concept of pleasant, unpleasant. So you broke trust with me by this. So what I need from you is to fix trust with me like this. Now, trust is a behavior thing. You can't talk your way out of a problem that you behaved your way into. Behavior got you out of trust. And now behavior is going to get you back into trust. So you want to establish, is there something you can do to make this better? Is there something you can do to make this better? And a lot of times people go, no, because they would rather be right than be happy. Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? Because you can be right. I know someone who will die, the rightest person I know, but they have been alone for a very, very long time because there's no room for human. There's no room for someone to be human around someone that always needs to be right. They're always right. They always get the last word. But that last word is fucking bitter in your mouth. It doesn't taste good. And you'll be stuck with that all alone. So is there something that they can do to fix it? Or you're like, it's so broken, I'd rather be right. Fuck them. Okay, you're going to eventually be alone on this. You're choosing alone. You're choosing right, which is choosing to be alone. That's fine. You've chosen it. You cannot complain about being alone. But if you would rather be happy than right, then you need to dig deep and say, what could they do to work this off with me? And you say, okay, I need you to be on time and volunteering for let's say that they broke your trust by being late to pick up your child at school. And now 30 minutes, they were waiting for 30 minutes. You don't like the way that is. Well, to make it up to you, they have to not just be on time for pickup, but to let you know when they're on their way every single time. Otherwise, consequence 2 is coming in. Consequence 2 is something that you really don't like. So when we do consequence 1, consequence 2 with our kids, which is something that we learned from a parenting coach, actually, I stopped doing sessions with her because I need to hear my intuition, but I did really like this from her. Consequence 1 is making the house nicer. It's adding something to it. So kid mouths off to you. You say, okay, the penalty for that is going to be cleaning a room within 15 minutes of being asked. Here's the timer. You have 15 minutes to go do it. You don't need to hop to right away, but you do need to get to it within 15 minutes of being asked. If you do not do it within 15 minutes of being asked, consequence 2, and consequence 2 is taking away something that you like. 24-hour media blackout, no dessert tonight, or whatever. Consequence 1 is you can add something to my life. Consequence 2 is I'm going to take something away from your life that you like. You're going to make my day pleasant. If that doesn't work, I'm going to make your day unpleasant. Period. Finito. So, but in order to even have this option, you need to, one, understand that they weren't doing it to hurt you, that people make mistakes. Now, just because people make mistakes doesn't mean you have to be a dumping ground for people's fuck ups, but you need to give them an opportunity to make it better. And especially when you're working with men, men don't handle subtlety. So you can't say, make it up to me in some way and leave it vague. Como perros, doggies. You can be subtle with the cat. You can use energy with the cat. But with the dog, come here, sit here, good boy. Do this, get this, good boy. Cats don't need to say, you ever said, go good girl to a cat? But they don't give a fuck about that. Cats are subtle, cues, subtlety, all, but dogs, direct, clear action, something that they can say, I do this, it gets me that, and then I get good boy. It needs to be specific. Go get me a present from the jewelry store. Clean my car, detail it, and make sure there's gas in it within 15 minutes of being asked. I will not get in that car again with an empty tank. Now fix it. Good boy. Can you be very clear of how you would like this made up to you? Do that and they can start working off their debt. But people don't want to look at this, but you have to investigate the part of you that is so fucking convinced that people are out to get you, that there are people around plotting your demise, that they are working together and collaborating to hurt you. And what does this not just say about how you feel about humanity, but also how you feel about the universe? Einstein says the only question that matters is, do you believe in a friendly universe or do you believe in a hostile universe? And a universe where you believe that the person closest to you is sitting around thinking up of ways where they can hurt you because they want to see you suffer, that's a pretty intense world. And only you can decide what world you're going to live in. But when you make the decision that you're living in a hostile universe, regardless of the intentions of the people around you, you're going to create that. You're going to create that. So let's recap some of the tools that we went over here. If there's a core argument that you keep coming to over and over, what's the core issue? If we think about the highest umbrella term, for example, a squash, a cucumber, and an eggplant. These are all vegetables. Are there other categories, nightshades and stuff? Yeah. But the umbrella term is that these are all a vegetable. So the primary argument I was in with my husband is, I work harder than you. I'm doing everything by myself. It's a very old story for me. Now, the offshoot of that is, it's okay that I'm doing everything by myself, but when I finally ask for you to just help me a little bit, you don't listen to me. That subcategory I couldn't do anything about. The deepest one I could do something about. When we got to the deepest one, all the other little nitpicking things went off the table. The offshoot argument, that was a limitation that we had to get around. How do I work with my husband when he won't listen to me? I make him his own manager. These are your tasks. If you don't do this, you're going to be the one dealing with the mess. I can release control instead of being like, oh my God, there's going to be a mess. Let's see how much of a mess there actually is. If it's really fucked up, we'll clean it together. I never ended up having to do that. Now he manages himself. Now, to get a little bit of clarity around the effectiveness of these arguments, how often have you had this argument? Maybe it's not going to change. Do you think that they're doing it maliciously? Do you think, and why do you think they're doing it maliciously? Get to the bottom of it. Finally, if they fucked you over, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? If you would rather be happy, give them a relevant consequence, not a punishment, discipline. Give them a relevant consequence. You did this. To fix it, you're going to do this. And I don't need to be happy with you. I can give you, you have to, whatever you want to see more of, you have to appreciate in life, in the universe, whatever you appreciate, you get more of. So if they're doing something good to work off their debt, let them know, I see what you're doing. Good boy. Let's keep going. But you have to decide if you would rather be right or happy, because everybody that's been right, and maybe they have whole social media channels devoted to how right they were in that relationship. and how, without a doubt, they were the victim in this relationship. They have fought very hard to claim the role of the victim, and now they're all alone with that role of the victim, and they're very, very right. But are they happy? Are they happy? The answer is no. You decide what's more important to you. If you're going to be the last right person standing, or if you're going to be happy. If you're going to be happy, let them work it off with you. So that whole thing that we talked about here, when we redo Erotic Wealth, we're doing it live for this round. People have to show up once a week for these live calls. But we're going to pick just one or two things to workshop throughout the course of that hour all together. And we'll work together as a class, because everybody's going to feel like they're an exception to the rule that no, we really do have this different fight every single time. You don't. It's the same. It's solvable if you want to solve it. But we're going to, with Erotic Wealth, I'm like, I really just want to make sure that we hit every single point from every single angle. But the truth is, when we hit every single point from every single angle, it's like too much for couples to do. It's just too much. It's just too much for them. So I'm going to have to cut like probably 60% of the curriculum to be able to just make it something that we can do together. Maybe, yeah, will we be missing some of these parts that I was really attached to? Yeah. But will we all complete it together? Yes, we will. And for me, that's what I'm looking for. Done is better than perfect. All right.